EV Marketplace on a Wednesday night. And thanks for joining me if you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook. If you're watching on catch up a bit later on, thanks for being with us. And of course, if it's 6:30 on a Wednesday night, it's EV Wednesday. We'll take you through for an hour or so. Then Tom and the gang will be there probably at 9 o'clock tonight. There's been plenty on YouTube this week, plenty of reviews and plenty of news. And we're going to bring you our weekly dose of deals, data, and discovery this week. In the second half of a big show tonight, we've got Jerry Pan from Jerry Pan and Cars coming through us from Auckland, New Zealand. We did catch up with Jerry a couple of nights ago. We were fascinated in the New Zealand car industry. They've had some ups and downs and turmoil over there. They've got some cars that we haven't got here, and they've got a fascinating used car dynamic over there. Jerry joined us a couple of nights ago, so stay tuned for Jerry in the second half because I had a great chat with him and it was really interesting. Of course, I'm from New Zealand 35, 40 years ago now. Bought a one-way ticket to Australia, been back many times, still got family in Auckland as well. So really interesting to find out what's going over there. And yeah, I used to work in the automobile finance industry, doing an F&I way back in the day. Hey, Murray, welcome tonight. Thanks, guys, for joining us. But yeah, that was a long time ago. Back in the EV industry now. I wouldn't say I'm in the automobile industry. We're in the EV industry, and happy to be here tonight. So bring you some news. First up, some breaking news. We dug back into the annals of AutoGrab. You might remember we were bringing you some news from AutoGrab about EV sales. Some funny things took place in the last few months. It's been a hell of a ride this year already. Anyway, let's go and check out the breaking news. And AutoGrab are the ones that are counting the data on the used car market. They are putting together all the data and a lot of information about the used car market that we were relying on. They were doing a fantastic carve out of the used EV market for EVs, and we were counting that. Did some great reports last year, early this year, and have been bringing it to you. And then they took that behind the paywall, as they say. I've managed to crack open the source again, and we haven't got full access. But I got a snapshot tonight already of some of the incredible things that were happening in the market in the first quarter, 3 months, February to March. And this chart, I love a good chart. We'll dig straight in to some data. This chart shows us on the dark blue the number of used, just EVs, not hybrids, just EVs for sale. Hey Don, how you doing? Good to join us. We're just caught us right in the middle of a bit of an explanatory chart about what's been happening with the used EV market. Because if it felt like there was a squeeze on between supply and demand, and which caused prices to go up, you're looking at it right here. Earlier in February, the market was ticking along quite nicely before the fuel spike, the fuel crisis. Suddenly, it started, the numbers for sale took a big dive, and that was due to demand. The demand for used EVs just took off. Sales is not quite on the same scale there, but that's the dotted blue line down, and that's his daily sales. So top line is the number of cars for sale that were for sale each day. That dropped dramatically down to a low of less than 1,500. And AutoGrab are picking up data across all the listing sites. They're skimming data, skimming listings, Facebook, car sales, everything to get as many numbers, close to 99% as possible. And they may not pick up everything, but certainly picking up most of the data, most of the cars for sale, classified as EVs. And you can see there that it's daily sales from when they were ticking along reasonably well in mid-February, 50 or 60 sales a day. Suddenly it spiked up to 137, almost 3 times the number of sales on a daily rate. That's just remarkable. If you've thought or felt that things like took off, this really shows what it was like, what the market was like. Had a bit of a lull again as this on again, off again war was on again, off again through April. And then sales dropped down a bit again, and then they spiked back up again. And this is used EVs only. They spiked back up again in mid-April, 120, 130 a day. Not huge numbers, but this was enough to just about wipe out all the stock, and stock got down to 1,500. Stock was a quarter of what it was almost a third of what it was in February. So just about everything that was for sale was bought out. So fascinating insights into what was going on looking back in hindsight now. We felt it here at Amazing EV because we weren't getting any stock. Cars were just going out as fast as they were coming in. And you can see then from 20th of April, slowly the stock has ticked back up again to getting closer to normal levels. And sales per month have dropped down closer to what they were in February, March, late February, quite quickly. But prices have remained quite high. So expecting the prices to come down a bit more. Still, particularly in the Teslas and the Model Ys, people are still asking for pretty good premiums over what they were getting back in February. Good on them, and we don't do much in terms of pricing, but we would like to follow and like to pass on trends. This was an interesting one. With numbers-wise of sales is back. We're at Amazing EV, sales are picking up again. Listings are picking back up again. It's just good to see the market and just probably returning to a bit of normalcy where the stock is coming back through and there's plenty for sale. So we're really pleased to see. We are really pleased to see this sort of market and some of the data coming back from AutoGrab again so that we can report that through. We were tracking it nicely, and it's a good source of the way that the used market's growing, or has grown really strongly. And along with the new car market, we can see how it's tracking along. Still, there's not enough people buying used cars. Still, we'd like to see more people buying used EVs. So we're going to keep promoting that through our networks as well. So fantastic to see that. And then as used EV listing started to pick up, we got a couple of good ones earlier this week out of the blue. One came from a fan of ours who'd been watching the show, and that's what it's all about. We're trying to create this network where people watching this show can list. They can see their cars on display here. We're talking to people through the networks, our networks on Facebook as well. Bring all that together through Amazing EV, our very own dedicated used EV marketplace, and try and bring the community of buyers and sellers together. We still think private sellers are the best sellers and private buyers are the best buyers. So that culminated in this listing here on Monday night, just out of the blue, a guy called Theo. And well, like electrons through the battery, so flow the days of Xpeng. So Hal's not with us tonight, so we'll give our Xpeng update anyway, but we managed to get an Xpeng G6 long range for sale on the marketplace. And this is fantastic because I hadn't seen one. There's a few floating around. There's a few through the administrator. There's a few through formal, informal channels. We'll see a bit later on in the New Zealand market. They never got the old Xpeng G6, Xpeng, Xiaopeng G6. They just got the new one already, very reasonably priced. This one's a good deal. This fiery orange one is not available. If you check out what is available now in the marketplace online through the administrator, this color is not for sale anymore. You can grab this one. In Victoria, Theo is going to come, has offered it for sale. I'll tell you a bit more about why he's selling it as well. But yeah, this one I really like. And again, Xpeng, Xiaopeng, done 28,000 Ks, like new, a year old. If you've got faith in them and you've got faith in Xiaopeng, this is the one, because brilliant car, and they're not bringing out any more of the fiery orange ones as far as we know. You go back to white, greys and blacks again, unfortunately for Xpeng. But hopefully with the new ANZ Xpeng formal channel taking over, they're going to sort out some of the problems we've seen, and hopefully we'll get back to a state of, well, business as usual. We want to see these guys succeed, but if you can grab yourself this one, if you've got confidence, that's all going to take place, which we have. This could be one for you. Really liking this car. It was a fantastic car. I've got one locally to me. I've had a close look at it. I've had a quick drive in it, but not a long time yet. Hopefully we'll do a bit more work on this one because I really love this color and it's very distinctive. So brilliant car. The great thing about this was I got an email from the guy, Theo, not long after he'd listed. I sent out an email, said, thanks for listening. Really appreciate your support. He's been watching the show. He's a Turo driver, and he sent me an email and said, we've got 6 or 7 cars, all sorts of cars to talk about. This one no longer in requirement. Then I found out, oh, we had a chat. I said, hey, Theo, do you want to come on the show and talk about your experiences? Because he's running a business where he's just operating two-row cars. And I did a bit of Googling and then found Theo and his son. And so this was fantastic because we found this picture in an article, and Theo has agreed to come on the show next week. And so he's going to talk about his cars. He's going to talk about renting through Turo. He's running a business. He's got EVs. He's got all sorts of EVs. We're going to have a chat to him next week. Coming up shortly, though, we have got another seller live with us, and he'll be joining us shortly. It's someone who sold an EV this week and bought another used EV. So I have got another mystery guest coming up shortly as well, we're going to talk to. But now back to one of my favorite spots. And again, talking about community and talking about keeping the whole loop of what we're trying to do here. And it's starting to all come together because I do spend a lot of time on Facebook and made a lot of Facebook friends, had a lot of connections through different groups, lots of people talking about what they're going to buy. Lots of people now talking in the last few months about buying used EVs as well. I got in on the end of this note, and Patricia, I think Trish started this off at the top of this note, and Scott chimed in. I think she was looking to sell her Polestar 2. She didn't quite know what to do next or what the next step might have been, went to the Polestar group for advice. And Scott said, why don't you try Rosco from AmazingEV? I don't know Scott. He wasn't a friend of mine, but it's starting to come together with what we're trying to achieve with the community. And it's really nice to see that all working for me, because we're just trying to help people buy and sell used EVs in a safer space. And then no sooner than Scott had recommended that, Trish listed, and someone else commented there, but then I followed up and we got the listing through Trish, and she put that up there, and I posted the link to AmazingEV to finish off that chain of messages as well. So the full loop there, someone had recommended, was nice enough to recommend and that they could use AmazingEV, and suddenly we went from a bit of a recommendation from someone to a listing to straight away me helping Trish talk about price, talk about what the next steps might be. This is a fantastic car. Again, look, it's almost brand new. Polestar 2, single motor, long range, plus pack. Beautiful car. So the full loop there, and hopefully someone in the Polestar group sees that, recommends that to someone. We're always recommending for people that are selling to put the link on AmazingEV and on their Facebook site. You never know who through your connections might be interested. Hi, Joe. Thanks for joining us. Good to see us. Good to see you tonight. Hope it's nice up where you are. Lovely night in Sydney tonight. But that was really nice. Again, started with a recommendation from someone else on Facebook who I didn't know. They recommended AmazingEV. Check this out again in Victoria. If you know anyone, you guys can help if you know anyone who's looking for a beautiful Polestar 2. Pricing's, she's probably negotiable, closer to 40. Sorry, closer to 50, I think. This is brand newish car, 2023 model. Probably maybe closer to 50, slightly under 50. But yeah, I think she's just still feeding the market out at this stage. But yeah, 8,000. It's brand new. So if you're looking in the market for a new one, this could be the go. This could be a very nice car. Anyone in Victoria. So really nice to see that all coming and together. And I'm just very happy that it is really nice. It's heartwarming to see that trying to help people through the Facebook groups, talking to people. We get a lot of pushback sometimes through YouTube and also some bizarre comments. But yeah, really trying to put those cars out there. We know that they're good people. And speaking of good people, Stan is not here tonight, long-time viewer, guest of the show. He's on his way around Australia again in the Zeekr 7X, and check out his latest video. He's putting the camping gear together. Look out for Stan. He'll be, if you're in, let him know online in the comments if you want to catch up with him, because he'll come and see you. He's going around Australia. This is, I think, the second or third time, twice maybe in the Polestar 2, once now in the Zeekr 7X, maybe the first person to go around Australia in a Zeekr 7X. So look out for Stan. He'll be heading your way soon. Good luck, Stan. He's not with us tonight, one of the regulars on the show. So Good to see him heading off again. That's great to see. As I say, that could be the first Seeker 7X going around Australia. But now from Perth, WA, Australia, we have someone who sold a EV this week. And welcome to the show from Perth, Ant Day. And congratulations.
Hey, good to see
you. Thanks for joining me again tonight. And joined us on a special last year. He's got 2 or 3 or 4, depending on which day of the week, EVs. And we made friends through Facebook. It was great to hear about some of his experiences of ownership. And then he's just sold an EV this week. And we'll get to that, what it was, just shortly. But yeah, let's have a look at the fleet at the moment. There's behind us, there is the new one, but there was one missing there, wasn't there, at the moment, Ant? For a while, for a brief period, there was one missing, and you just sold. What did you just sell?
Yeah, so I sold the Tesla Model 3 that I had. It had got to the point of time to sell, 6 years old, and it had full self-driving. It had a number of other features, and I decided that it was time for it to go.
Yeah. How many Ks had that one done?
Well, it had done 150,000. Yeah. I bought it originally secondhand.
Yeah.
Again from a friend here in WA with 108 on the clock, and it was a year. Had driven it a fair amount in a year. Not many people drive that much in a year, but he had.
That's getting right up there. I'm just going to switch to the. There we go. I'd switch to the screenshot of that one. Yeah, that was right up there. And how many Ks did it done when you bought it?
So it was 108,000 Ks, okay. And mostly done in WA. The previous owner had several EVs prior to that one, but he likes charging, so he goes to various charge stations and charges them. And if he discovers a new one, he'll be wanting to be there first, be first at the charger. So I bought that from him secondhand in the end of 2020, beginning of 21.
And you were confident at that stage buying a secondhand Tesla at that stage?
Yes, I think the confidence in buying secondhand EVs has increased a great deal, but at that stage it was low, and for one that had done over 100,000, I think it was almost non-existent. So I did kind of, I got in very favorably there with a good price, and drove it away.
That's good, but it still took a leap of faith. I think, like first-time EV buyers, first-time Tesla buyers back in the day, they had to have, well, no one else led the way, they had to have some degree of confidence that this was going to be a thing. And then there was a lot of talk about batteries, and I guess there were some unknowns as well, whether what you were buying was going to last the distance. And I think we're lucky that they've just have outperformed everything and all expectations. And then, of course, we've got the battery testing coming to the fore as well. Did you end up getting a battery? Did you end up getting a battery test on this one?
Yes, indeed. So, just a little bit of the story behind selling it. But firstly, when I bought it, I'd had 8 years of EV driving and ownership prior to that. So I knew what I was talking about, and I knew that an EV was a secondhand EV, particularly one that had done 100,000 Ks, was no problem. But then in terms of selling it, as you mentioned, I got hold of you and put it on, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to promote it. While it didn't eventually sell off the platform, it allowed me to hone my selling skills, and make it sound prime to sell.
Thank you. I'll go back to the listing there and just show them it really looked and presented really well as well. I think you went out of your way to take really nice photos, right? And so that made a big difference. I plastered a big sold sign on it, but I think to anybody out there, the lesson is really clear. Go out of your way to get some nice shots. This car looks for 150,000, 53,000 Ks and 6 years old. It looks magnificent. So you've
Yes,
gone out of your way
yeah.
to clean it, detail it, and it presents beautifully, right? Mm.
So one of the reasons it does look like that, first of all, I did look after it, even though it was in a carport, not a garage.
Yeah.
I had it ceramic coated 3 times while I had it,
Okay.
and that helped with the cleaning.
Yeah.
Plus, uh, I did rim rash a few times. I'll admit that. I won't blame it on anybody else. But I took the time to actually fix it myself,
Yeah.
and then have it properly professionally fixed when I sold it.
Yeah.
But I had it ceramic coated 2 days or 3 days before I sold it, and also put a cover over it,
Yeah.
which made a big difference because when the seller arrived, when the buyer arrived, I could take the cover off.
Yeah.
It looked gleaming, and it didn't have
Yeah,
a
it looks.
single spot of dirt on it.
Yeah.
Plus, I took it
Again, these
down
photos.
to
Go ahead. Sorry.
sorry, yeah, I took it down to Tiago in Osborne Park,
Hmm.
who does a very good job of doing a servicing on electric cars, and he fitted an air filter for me that I'd got, or the filter that goes on the front of the car,
Yeah.
because these things accumulate leaves in front of the coolant filter.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something for people to watch out for. So we took care of every aspect of cleaning it and making it good for sale.
Just in the process of for anyone that's interested, between 100 odd and 150,000 odd, what else maintenance? Any other maintenance that you had done?
So there were two things that happened. One was the previous owner had gone through a puddle, and the noise deadener, I guess, for want of a better word, panel, which is like a felt panel underneath the engine or underneath the motor, was loose. I replaced that early on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw one of my photos earlier, but it had the Tesla up on a hydraulic lift,
Yeah.
and I replaced that. It was just out of warranty, but the warranty wouldn't have been covered, wouldn't have covered that.
Yeah.
But I did that myself. It cost $250.
Yeah.
Often people talk about Tesla parts costing more. In fact, in my experience, they haven't. The other one thing was that the control arms had the squeaky noise. That was
Yeah.
a recall under warranty,
That's
but
good.
mine was just out of warranty by about 30,000 Ks.
Yeah.
And Tesla essentially supplied me the parts for in the $200, and I again sorry, no, they did it without charging me labor.
That's good. That's really good.
They did it just on parts, which was
That's
really
really
good.
good. Yeah, and I'd recommend to anyone who's, including my own Model Y, anyone who's done 100 odd thousand Ks or checking out a car that's Tesla that's done 100,000, check the front suspension bushes or the control arms and the components, or have them checked if you're not confident, because often the wearing, it can be a reasonable repair from a local mechanic. It's not a Tesla job necessarily. It can just, a mechanic can handle it quite easily. And so, but that's a fairly common thing, the suspension on the Model 3 and the Model Y on the front, about 100 Ks. So,
Yeah, the other issue with the Model Y is the camber on the rear wheel makes the inside way down to canvas when you think the tire's still fine. I just wanted to hark back to one more thing that you did ask me, and I forgot to say. Yes, I had the battery test by Tiago in Osborne Park. Could have had it done by a number of other people, and you gave me some very good pointers as to where to go, and I'm sure you'll mention those. However, I got the battery test done, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that it was actually pretty good, 83.6% SOH, which is, for its age, was particularly good.
Yeah, I think we're finding that these ones are holding up really, really well. Again, mid to lowish 80s at about 150,000 Ks. Not quite as good as the LFPs, but this was the Fremont. This was NMC, wasn't it, from Fremont?
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but with the chrome trim, that's what distinguishes it. So not quite doing as well, regardless of the charging mix, but still holding up, and plenty left really for another 150,000 Ks, right? So, And that process, and again, we appreciate your support. And we didn't sell it through Amazing EV, but got a good deal, spread the word around, got a quick sale. Again, not as much as you wanted, but it doesn't. At the end of the day, the deal's done, and you have moved on to something else. But that all took less than a week by the time you got your act together, which is pretty quick. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I sold it on a Friday. I had already a week prior bought the previous car, and essentially needed to sell this car.
Yeah. So,
I was offered a really low trade-in, as you do, as you get. So Volvo offered me 15,000. Tesla offered me 12 for this.
I was going to say we're hinting to what you bought, but we'll get to that. But it was a Volvo dealership, yeah, and they offered you how much again?
15,000.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's cheeky, right? And Tesla offered
12.
Yeah, okay. So our message is to try and sell privately. He got almost double that, just to give you an impression of where we're at without revealing all the numbers. The Tesla trade-in number got double on the retail market. So, and
Easily.
that's about then that was still a good deal. So yeah. Anyway, that's they're not reselling these cars. They're putting them back to the auction market. We'd love to see people on the private market if you can handle the ins and outs and the ups and downs. It's a bit of work, but yeah, it's worth it in the end, I think. So, and then you have alluded to what you bought. You've got a couple in the fleet already. You love electric cars, and you've got to run us through what you've got again.
So I got a.
Oh no! Go back and tell us what you've already got.
Oh, sorry. What I have bought in my past. Okay.
In the garage there. In the garage there now.
Oh, okay. A GWM Aura, which is
cool.
my son's car. The Hyundai Kona. So the Aura is a 2023 GWM Aura extended range. Got it at a really good price. New. It's the only new car I've ever bought. I've never bought a new car. Only because I got it for 27,000 for an extended range.
That's
GWM Aura.
And just quickly recommend that to anybody. I know they're run out. They're run out new now. You can't buy them new, but secondhand, you'd recommend that to anyone?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, there are a couple of things you've got to do. Some quirky software, which you can get around by buying one of these little goodies over here, which allow you to make wireless Android Auto problems a thing of the past.
That's handy.
I have a few of them. I've tried a few. The Kona.
That's the what color is that?
Hyundai Kona Galactic Grey, 2019. So it was roughly the same age as the Tesla. It did a lot of driving, so it's done 124,000 Ks, and mostly on my watch. So I bought it with about 8,000 Ks on the clock for 55,000. When new it was 63, and I bought it 3 months old. So it was effectively new.
Yeah.
From a buyer who kind of got himself in trouble with buying that.
You recommend that secondhand? They're a great car.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The one issue to watch out for is a thing called the Wheel of Fortune, which happens to these cars, which makes a kind of a whirring noise like a Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
About $5,000 or $6,000 to fix. If you can pick up one of these for 25,000, 27,000, you've got a fantastic car with 64 kilowatt hours of range of capacity.
Okay. And just quickly, the other one, the white one.
The white one we just bought from a friend. There's a bit of a trend there. Is a Hyundai.
It's not a bad thing to buy. It's not a bad thing to buy cars from people you know. At the end of the day, is it?
Yeah. We bought that just before secondhand prices went up again. So that was bought for 14,500.
He's no longer a friend, right?
Oh no, they were happy with it. It had a few bumps and scratches and dings, which I've repaired. I've done my own panel beating and spraying, and and it's a remarkable little beast. It's a very, very efficient Honda Ioniq 28 kilowatt hour, and it still gets around 250, 260 kilometers on a full battery.
That's like, I
Beautiful,
know, it's like the Corolla of EVs for around town, is it? Tons of room, old school
beautiful little
Japanese
car.
interior. Yeah. Let's not,
Yeah.
without any further ado, again, I've held you up tonight, but what did you buy and why?
Bought an XC40. The reason I bought it was the family just loved the car,
Yeah.
and we hired one in South Africa 3 years ago, and drove it around South Africa, and fell in love with the car, and I kept on looking for one, waiting for the right time to buy, and eventually bought this one. It's not the color that I wanted. I wanted a green one, but it'll grow on me,
Yeah.
and it is a really nice car.
And it looks magnificent, and it's firmly. You took delivery today, so it's hot in the garage, yeah, or cool in the.
Yes, yes, indeed. And one of the things is I've been a bit unwell for the last few days, and I had a bit of vertigo, so I couldn't actually drive it myself. But the dealer actually delivered it for me.
You still haven't driven it, or since you bought it.
Yeah, since I did a test drive, but it's been looking at it in the garage. Yeah, it's a great car, and my wife Catherine says that it's a grown-up car.
That's okay. So you've graduated from to a grown-up car. That is good news. Hey, Ant, thanks very much. Look forward to catching up again. Can you tell us a bit more about the price on that, or you want to reveal what year was it, and what price? Can you tell us on that?
Oh, it's a 2022. It is a recharged twin, which is the 75 kilowatt hour battery.
Huge, yeah.
Range around 450 WLTP and 350 on the open road. Twin motor, 300 kilowatts on the road, delivered, and the
Brilliant.
price was towards the upper 40s.
Yeah, that's good though. Still, that's good though. Yeah,
On-roads was just on 50.
They're holding their value really well, and again, all the Volvos, seem really nice and seem to be holding it and quality build. So, again, I recommending those on the used market as well. So, hey, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate all your updates. It's fantastic to see that. Nice addition to the garage, right? A used EV seller and a used EV buyer in the same week, Lant. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was Ant Day from WA. He's on Facebook, and he's a Leaf owner. He's an Ioniq owner. He's a Kona owner. He's been a Tesla owner, and he knows all about EVs. He's had them for 10 years now. If you want anything on Facebook, hit him up because he's more than happy to help you. We're running a bit over time, but hey, stay tuned. I've got Jerry Pan joining us from New Zealand now. Pre-recorded a couple of nights ago. Fantastic insight into the New Zealand market, and we're going to hit that now. So go and get a coffee, and then take it away, Jerry. Hey, Jerry, welcome to EV Marketplace on a Wednesday night. Thanks for joining us all the way from Auckland in New Zealand. And hey, this is our first time. We haven't had anyone on the show from New Zealand, so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite.
That's great to see you. And look, for anyone that doesn't know, it's Jerry Pan and Cars on YouTube. And Jerry's got about 10, 20 times more subscribers than I have. He's been covering cars for how long now, Jerry?
Since 2021, but covering series reviews probably since 2024. So a couple of years now.
So he's an old hand, and we've pinned him down to get some background, particularly focused on EVs as we're an EV channel in the New Zealand market. Jerry has done a heap of work. He's done more reviews. He's done more in-depth tutorials on just about every car, covering a lot of the new EVs. And we want to focus on what that market looks like in New Zealand because there's a few big differences over there. I'm a New Zealander, and I've been over here 35 years, in case nobody knew, and I've still got family in Auckland. Jerry lives in Auckland, and we just wanted to make that connection. So I've still got a really strong interest in what's going on over there. It has been a very interesting market over there, hasn't it, Jerry? But
Absolutely,
tell me,
yeah.
Yeah, do you, I mean, first of all, do you get involved with EVs? Do you like the EVs that you're seeing coming out over in the New Zealand market?
Yeah. Obviously, before I started this channel, I've never got into an EV, and
Yeah.
I still remember the first EV I've ever driven was the MGZS EV,
Yeah.
and that was a really cool experience. After that, I've been telling everyone around me EV how good that EV is and everything. So yeah, it's I definitely got a lot of love for EVs and EVs overall, I think. Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you what you drive. Jerry works in the motor industry as well, so he gets to drive a heap of cars, so he knows firsthand what they're like. And there's an extraordinary number of cars available in EVs available in New Zealand, and it's a much smaller market than Australia, just by way of comparison. And look, this chart's not a brilliant one, but I guess we do about 1 million new cars here in Australia per annum, a bit over 1 million, and New Zealand's been doing about 130 to 160,000 per year for the last, up and down. But what was that big hole in 2020, Jerry? You were in the industry then. What happened then?
Yeah, obviously COVID was
course.
the main issue.
Of course.
Yeah, and so lockdowns and everything obviously stopped people buying cars and during that time. And
I hadn't thought of
there's a big drop.
I hadn't thought about that. That is a massive drop from a strong market way back then. And you were involved in the industry then as well?
Yeah. I was there. Yeah, it was a struggle for a lot of people, and not just buying cars. It's simply come down to basic of livings, buying groceries and holding things and redundancy, everything. Many of us probably have gone through that. Yeah,
that's tough. It's a tough time. It looks like it bounced back well to that period there again, back to over 160,000 cars, and it's just been tailing off more recently, of course. But the EV market over there has also been a tough one as well, even compared to Australia. We've just cracked 20% for various reasons, pure BEVs here in Australia, as you probably know. What's been happening in the new car EV market in New Zealand?
Yeah. So obviously at 2022, the government, specifically Labour government at the time, introduced something called the EV or Clean Car Rebate, for the name. And they were applying up to, at one time, more than $8,000 discounts or rebate to brand new EVs. So you buy a brand new EV for, let's say, 60 grand, you get $8,000 back from the government, or more than 8,000. And then if you buy a plug-in hybrid, you get 5,700 or something back from the government. If you buy a brand new, it has to be brand new. So at the time of that period was a big incentive for electric vehicles. To be fair, if you look it back right now, the EV at the time wasn't as cheap as what it is right now, but it was a point. It was a starting point for the generation, for the whole market to start shifting to look at EV options. So there was a huge spike at even from end of 2021 all the way through to end of 2023. Eventually, they dropped the rebate from EV from 8,000 something to 7,000 something, but still, it was huge.
That's really generous. That was good. It was good for EV buyers at the time, and there weren't many cars around. We only had the Model Y and the Polestar 2, the Atto 3 back in 22. Maybe the Ioniq 5 at that stage. Do you remember what you had way back then, like 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, way back then it was predominantly BYD, MG, Teslas. I think those three big ones.
MG4,
MGZS, and BYD Atto 3, BYD Dolphin, and then there's a Seal sedan. Then Tesla will be Model 3, Model Ys, and then you got all the other players like GWM, Aura, and some small other cars. But those are the main big selling ones at the time. And
that was going really well. The market share was improving, sales were improving, and the market share pure BEVs got to over 20%, which is where Australia is now, just at the end of 2023. I think there was something happening about then, that people just rushed in and bought them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think the end of Q4 2023 was the time they've announced that it's going to end on 31st of December. So that's why everyone rushed in, says, I'm going to get a rebate because after that, the price will jump or price will change, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you see the Q1 2024, there was barely any registration from that.
Yeah, so end of 2023, was that a bit of a rush because people knew that the benefits or the bonuses were going to be removed?
Yeah. Obviously, end of 2023 was the time when they announced, rebate will finish from 31st of December. So yeah, when the government get that announcement out, then everyone was just rushed into dealership to get car before then. I know they've announced a couple months before, but people were only just gonna buy a car in December, so that's why the December rush was just always there. Not only that, I think at the time many dealerships would be registering cars just so they can get a rebate for from government. So,
that's
they
right.
can keep selling all these cars on the dock.
Anything like that, you put a date on anything, and it causes a mad rush, and they're going to get those cars registered and claim that rebate as soon as possible.
Exactly.
And look, it's fair to say that the market sort of pretty much crashed after that in New Zealand, didn't it? Really, for EVs.
Yeah. So, and obviously after that, there was so many demo EVs or so-called demo EVs on the market. And then also the incentive is gone. So everyone look at the price, and obviously the manufacturer didn't want to discount their prices. And so people look at the price of that, just there's no interest on new EVs suddenly. So that's why that drop was just huge from that time. And then I can't remember exactly which month they also introduced what we call RUC, road user charge. So typically you get RUC on diesel cars, so you pay per 1,000 kilometers about $76,000. Sorry, $76.
Wow.
Sorry, $76 per 1,000 Ks.
Wow.
And then after some time, they introduced the RUC for the EVs and for the PHEVs, plug-in hybrids. And then that also again hurt the market quite a bit. Not only you're not buying the car super cheap, but also in your ownership you have to pay more than what the other guys were paying at the time.
Yeah, that's huge. Because with the currency normally, around about 10% difference. Most of those EVs, like for like, are around about 10%, not exorbitantly higher, but around about 10% higher in New Zealand dollars. So a reasonable lick, for around 70 or 80,000 still for a new Tesla or something like that, right? Model Y. So up there, and you had to be keen. But without government support and government incentives, and we've had state government incentives here in Australia, and haven't had a federal government incentive like that, and they've all gone away. But we've got the fringe benefit tax exemption here, which has really kept the market underpinned at around about 7 to 9%, of course, up until recently. And you guys stayed at around about 5-ish percent, 5 or 6%, kicking along from 24 to 25,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's always been around 5% also after that.
And a lot more
until recently.
And a lot more. We're going to come to it, but a lot more car selection in many cases. How many new EVs do you reckon, pure EVs, are available in New Zealand now?
A lot. It's hard to count. There's too many to sell or to choose from, I think, at the moment. If you want a EV medium-sized SUV, you got probably 10 competitors that you can check out. Within the price range between 50 to 80K, and it's simple as that.
We'll come back and have a look at the top 10 in a minute. But because of course recently, like Australia, something crazy happened which affected the New Zealand market as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can see the spike recently. Yeah.
This is the chart of BEV weekly registrations in New Zealand. The new ones in the teal color, the used ones in the orange. And so, did you see it? Did you feel it? This is up until April 2026. More recently, they just went crazy here. The new market went crazy here. The used market went crazy here. What happened over there?
Yeah, so same thing in New Zealand, just because of the fuel prices from the war, Iran, the States, everyone. the fuel prices went sky high. At one point, it was diesel for $4 per liter. That
we
was
got
just
to
crazy.
we got to 325, 350. So yeah, like it's
Yeah,
insane, right? But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was insane. So everyone kind of at the time rushed into trying to look at EV options or
yeah,
plug-in hybrid options, more economic options
mm,
that as long as it doesn't run on fuel.
yeah,
And obviously you get all the conspiracy about we're
yeah,
gonna work from home, we're gonna stop petrol diesel
yeah,
cars to be on the road every maybe one day away, because things like that. People, there's either panic or there's either
yeah.
suddenly you push a lot more people to change their decisions and make their minds. And so yeah,
It's
you see the spike. Yeah,
unbelievable. That's yeah. So that's the blue, the teal numbers, the new car spike back up. Almost that's like a doubling, almost doubling of market share of registrations again, and probably petrol sales dropped. Petrol cars dropped a bit, so market share probably increased. Used again looks like it's gone up to 200 or 300% off a small base,
yeah.
but by the same token, yeah, quite remarkable in terms of the increase there. Did you have a lot of
Yeah.
media and press messaging? Because here we found that a lot of the noise was made out of the media. Suddenly they had been anti-EVs for 2 or 3 years and every excuse not to buy one, every reason. But then suddenly they were on board and they were doing pieces on how popular they were and what a great solution they are. Did you find that on
Mm.
the media over there as well?
Yeah, I think you will see a lot more news about coverage
Yeah,
about, let's say, I think BYD there was a media information from BYD New
yeah,
Zealand about they sold about, I can't remember, 80 or 60 cars in one day, which
yeah,
is 5 or 16 times more than
yeah,
what they would normally sell.
yeah,
So yeah, those were some crazy days at the time. So you see a lot of over the news everywhere.
yeah,
One side is people panicking about fuel prices. One side is about people are selling EVs. So
yeah.
it's two things altogether. Yeah.
No, it was amazing. Yeah, because I'd never had so many people come up to me and say, "Oh, look, you must be happy you own an EV. Like, you must be really like." For years go by, and you just get strange questions and interesting questions from
Mhm.
strangers. But yeah, suddenly you have people going, "Well, you must be really happy you've got an EV."
Yeah, yeah.
That was
You've
the
got the
first
right
time.
choice. Yeah, yeah.
That was the first time I'd experienced that for a long time.
Mm,
Yeah, it's kicked on here in Australia. I haven't got the latest numbers for New Zealand, but I think it seems to be holding about double, maybe 10% by the looks of things. And yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. If anything, at least it's been a talking point to get people back interested in EVs rather than in negative news. I think we don't want to see petrol prices high, but by the same token, it's really kicked off interest in EVs, and we're just under 20% here in Australia, and I think you guys
mm.
are 10 or 12% over there, which is it is good to see. Again, kicks off awareness, keeps everyone happy. So, are you seeing it at the dealership floor level as well? Still,
Yeah, yeah. You see a lot more people coming to
mm,
dealerships, not just everywhere on this in this industry.
yeah,
Asking, oh, what EVs have you got? Have you got this? Have you got that?
yeah,
Either used or either new and things like that. So there's a lot of interest.
yeah.
You can definitely feel it. Yeah.
It's no, and just Jerry still works in the motor industry as well as me. No one makes any money out
Yeah.
of YouTube, so still Jerry's in the motor industry. I'm driving an Uber. We're talking to a lot of people all the time about
Mm.
buying tastes. And speaking of buying tastes, I found the market very different in terms of models. And there's a couple of brands, well, very different, very similar in some ways in terms of Tesla, MG, BYD. Um, but there's a couple in there which I noticed last time. I think there was some Vauxhalls and Peugeots even 3 or 4 years ago, maybe not in the top 10 or 15 or 20 now. But one of the
Yeah.
ones that really stood out for me was Dongfeng. And is that how you say it?
Yeah. Dongfeng, or in Chinese it's Dongfeng, but yeah, for all the all the Kiwi audience or Australian audience, Dongfeng is the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That's no problem. Yeah, yeah.
Have you had actually, by the way, have you had a chance to go to China and have a look at any of the car industry over there?
Yeah, just general browsing for car dealerships and everything.
Yeah.
Not for factories and things like that. I haven't had
No.
the pleasure to do that, but yeah, you see
And
them on the road, you see them in shopping malls
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
Have
Mm.
you been to any of the big shows, Shanghai or Beijing yet? Or?
No, not myself, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but I'd
Me
love to.
neither.
Yeah,
Put that on the list as well, right? That's
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, and are they set up? I mean, Xpeng's another one that we'll talk about that briefly because there was a very different setup in New Zealand. But Dongfang, is that part of the factory setup there? Is that how they set up in New Zealand?
They are more like a still distributor, so more like
Okay.
different ways. So the factory obviously got a local distributor look
Okay.
for dealerships, and dealerships sell them and things. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're still distributor type for Dongfang. Yeah,
Interesting
that's
because
true.
we haven't got that one here. We've got quite a few others.
Mm.
Dongfang is not not here yet. But I think they're coming to Australia later this year.
Yeah, at least that's their plan. If they already, it's more like for all these Chinese brands, their ultimate goal will be on both markets. If
Yeah.
they're here in New Zealand and haven't been
Yeah.
to Australia, will go there. And if they're here in Australia and
Yeah.
not here in New Zealand, they will eventually go here. So it's like both market shares basically same car. So why
Yeah.
not if you're already in
I
one
know, and that
market?
makes sense. And that's right.
Mm,
We'll get straight to Xpeng now because the G6, we didn't have the new one yet here, and yeah, there's been some turmoil here with the way the distribution agency was working here. But
mm,
Xpeng ANZ has just taken over the distribution here apparently, and so that's I think some of the team coming over from New Zealand to help set it up here as part of the regional brief. Well, you've got the Xpeng G6 already, the new one in New Zealand, and we don't have the new
mm.
one yet. Have you driven this one? Do you like this one?
Yeah, I've driven it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like it. It's like it's a very unique car for its price bracket. I
Yeah.
think if this is obviously to compare to Tesla Model Y,
Yeah.
BYD
Yeah.
Series 7, and all sorts of medium to large size five-seater
Yeah.
EV, this one just has a way better starting price compared
Yeah.
to all the other ones
What's
on
that?
the
That's New
same
Zealand
price
dollars
range.
60. Is that 63,990? Is
Yeah,
that drive
yeah.
away in New
Uh,
Zealand?
for New Zealand, you always do plus ORC, on road
Yeah. Okay.
cost.
On road
That
costs.
can
Yeah.
be a couple grand, I would
Yeah.
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good
Uh,
though. Yeah.
yeah, good
That's a good
price. Yeah.
price for that car, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's this one 63,990. That's the rear-wheel drive, long range. You
Yeah.
get more than 500 kilometers range. You get 800 voltage, 800 volt
That's good.
architecture for the charging, so it's super fast charging. It's got
Did you know?
everything. It's got heating, cooling, massage, everything.
For anyone that's bought the G6 or looking at them and still
Mm.
considering them, what were some of the differences? Can you remember between the old G6 and the new G6?
Oh, we haven't had the old G6 in New
Oh, you did.
Zealand. We only had this is the first G6 we had, but based on some online research, that the small thing they changed was just basically front. You get different logos, location.
Yeah,
One's on the lower side,
yeah,
one's on the bonnet, I think.
yeah. They changed the logo.
Interior side,
They changed the logo
yeah,
position.
yeah.
Was the old one 400 volts and the new one 800, or were they both
That's
800?
right. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
major
yeah,
difference. Old one was 800 volt.
yeah,
New one was 800 volt. Old one
yeah.
was 400. So
I was trying to
you get
remember.
way better charging
Yeah,
capability and actually really good efficiency.
yeah,
When I tested, I didn't test much, but I've read some owners' review testing them just as a general
yeah,
ownership. Someone gets about 15 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers efficiency out of the all-wheel drive, the
yeah.
performance one. So it's pretty good.
But then
Mm.
let's get finally to that. Yeah, that Dongfeng and that one. That is a cute little car. The box, right? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like a micro
Mm.
car or like a mini car.
Yeah, it looks like a mini car, but it's not that small. It's
No.
actually just a bit bigger than the Suzuki Swift, which
Yeah.
is
Okay.
actually not bad size.
Yeah.
Yeah, they choose to put an interesting name, Dolphin Box, on it. Yeah,
It's
because funny thing,
it is slightly contentious name, but
yeah. So the funny thing in China, they actually call that Nami. So Dongfeng Nami 01. So
yeah, that's a
actually,
cute. Nami's a
yeah,
cute name, right?
yeah,
Mm.
Nami is a cute name, and I don't know why they named the box. But anyway, the car overall is quite well equipped for what it is for
Yeah.
the pricing. In New Zealand, you can get one for
Mm.
29,990 plus ORC. So the cheapest electric vehicle to sell, brand
Yeah.
new. Along with that, you get 350 kilometers WLTP range,
That's
which
good.
is
Yeah, that's great.
enough.
Is
And
that
then,
is that the cheapest new EV in New Zealand now?
yep, so same price as the base model BYD Atto 1. So
Okay.
both of them are 29,990.
Yeah.
But the box is more spacious.
Yeah.
Has a few more features than the base model BYD Atto 1. Has a longer range than BYD Atto 1 base model. So
Yeah.
technically the box is cheaper. Yeah, and then it's got leather seats inside. It's got
That's good.
cameras. It's got touch screens.
Look, that's cool. Because we got the Aeon UT here, which is we've just had that one released as well, a very small one here as well. So I'm not sure if that's scheduled. You've got the V, but we've got the UTs. That is the cute little small one here as well.
Yeah.
And is Geely on the horizon for New Zealand? Do you think? Because they've just made huge inroads here, doing really well in their own, with the cars in their own name.
Yeah, they are also doing well in New Zealand for selling and everything, but they obviously started in New Zealand just a little bit later than Australia, so they're still catching up with this.
EX5's doing really well. Really well priced, and there's I'm going to do a special another couple of weeks on end of financial year pricing. We've got our financial year ending in 30 June. And you get some fantastic deals. They just all pile in with free giveaways, discounts, rebates, free charges. There's a lot of competition to get some end of financial year deals out there. So, yeah, there's really good deals on some of those. This one I was curious about. The other, is it Vigo? The Dongfeng Vigo?
Yep, that's right. Yeah. Vigo is more like a small SUV.
Maybe looks a bit like a Kia EV3.
Yeah. The front design, specifically the lights, even the rear tail lights, even the side, it looks like a Kia EV3. But funny thing about this car is Dongfeng actually is the manufacturer for Kia vehicles in some of the Chinese market. So technically they are connected in some way. That's why I guess it's okay for that design. But yeah, overall it's not a cute car to look at it.
That's right. You reminded me. So the Kia EV5 is built in China. The EV3 is built in Korea, but Kia have outsourced for everyone, just a reminder, Kia have outsourced the building of the EV5 to China, right? So, and it's Dongfeng's factory, yeah?
That's right. Yeah. So Kia Dongfeng does produce some local Kia vehicles in China. So I guess they have a little bit more connection than we think. But
and this is about EV3 size. It looks at subcompact, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, EV size, EV3 size, or BYD Atto 2 size. So similar.
It's cute. The nose is a bit less aggressively square than the Kia. I think it's a cute little car. That's good. And you've driven this one or not?
Yeah, I've driven this one. I've reviewed this one. It's got some quirky designs. It's got an external speaker, so you can when you park the vehicle, you can play music to blast outside. Obviously, there's a limit on the volume.
That's fun. That's fun for a family.
Make funny noise, dog barks outside. Exterior speaker. It's got twin split tailgate, which is
That's cool.
funny.
You can sit down, so come down, split tailgate, yeah.
手动的后备箱可以选配电动后备箱，电动后备箱呢或者手动后备箱都有一个非常酷的天地门造型，这个是非常少见的。这个天地门呢也可以支撑1-2个成年人坐在上面，另外这块也有2个杯架。
I'm not going to ask you whether you've driven a car again. I'm just going to assume that you have, and then you tell me if you haven't. Okay, so
no problem.
I'm not going to ask you if you've driven a car. I'm going to assume that you have. How much is this one in New Zealand?
I think starting price is 37,990 plus ORC. Yeah,
that's all right.
Not bad price. Yeah, just one single spec. It's got everything you see.
Yeah.
So pretty easy, straightforward.
And have you got the Cherry in New Zealand yet?
Yeah, Cherry. Yeah, we do have Cherry, Omoda, J-Cool, everything. Yeah.
Because the J5 is doing really well. Maybe number 3 outright, beating the Geely EX5 now. But it looks cool. It looks like a little mini Range Rover, right? And it's just really stylish, and it's just practical and in good pricing here. Mid 30s, 36, 37 deals at 36, 37 Aussie. Have you got the J5 there?
Yeah. I'm literally driving this week, which is good timing.
Okay. All right.
So
keep an eye
yeah,
out we'll put a link down below for Jerry's YouTube channel. He's going to be driving the J5. Check it out and subscribe to his channel as well, because he's got
Thank you.
reviews and details on just about everything that I've talked about tonight. So
yeah. I try to get everything as much as I can. So
I
see,
know.
actually the EVs are the new car to get hold of. So yeah.
And one more Dongfeng, which I've never seen either. I haven't seen either. I've seen the box, but I hadn't seen the Vigo. And this one, this is the 007, right?
007. Yeah, it's a 007. Yeah. Again, the name doesn't. I mean, for Kiwi market, everyone thinks, oh, it's stealing the name from James Bond. But in the Chinese market, they are classified as a sub brand from Dongfeng called Yipai.
Okay.
They have I think 66, 007, 88, and things like that. So this one happens to be 007.
Yeah. Okay.
And they happen to not change this one's name. So yeah, that's where the name come from. But yeah, actually very cool car for what it offers as a fastback. It just looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought very stylish car, very nice.
Yeah,
is this about
design elements on this is cool.
Is this bigger than Model 3? Slightly bigger than Model 3?
Actually, it's a little bit longer than Model 3,
Yeah.
but inside it's similar to Model 3, I think.
Yeah. That's really, look, we won't keep you too long, Jerry, but I really wanted to just have a quick look at so a very interesting dynamic on the used market in New Zealand, because it hadn't occurred to me. A lot of the New Zealand market is driven by Japanese imports, and they have been for many, many years. And there's different regulations over there about importing, and there's a few Japanese imports here. You can get around it, but there's more tariffs on imports, Japanese imports here. So it's not been that prevalent on the new car market, but it's a big deal on the New Zealand car market, and they're significantly cheaper, right? Do you see a lot of Japanese cars on the road still, Japanese imports?
Yeah. Not just for EVs or hybrids, it's for everything in general. Just over the years, the New Zealand used car market rely on Japanese import, just being cheaper and reliable.
Yeah.
And then EVs will be the same. You see, before the year 2020, before all this new EV came to New Zealand market. On the road, the predominant EV you will see is Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. Because the interesting dynamic is that because New Zealand relies on those cheaper Japanese cars to fill a spot in a cheaper used car market, right? So they're cars that weren't new in Japan; they were used. They got different registration rules over there. After I think 3 years or something, it can get quite expensive to re-register. So it makes some sense to export them. Japanese is right-hand drive, New Zealand's right-hand drive. They don't have the same sort of tariffs on import duties in New Zealand. So they played a big part in the New Zealand market for quite some time. That filtered through to the market with some much cheaper cars. Instead of just relying on the new cars to filter through, the Japanese imports have tended to be a lot cheaper. And something I hadn't realized about the used EV market in New Zealand, we're relying on the used EV market here building up around the legacy new EV market, and there's probably about 500,000 EVs on the market here, on the road here, and so they're filtering through to a few thousand every month now on the used market. But it's going to cause a bit of a backlog, or it's going to stall the growth of the used market over there. I understand. We looked at this article from Car Expert who highlighted this, and it's really a bit of a problem from a survey that they've done, that they're trying to find secondhand EVs that are affordable is going to take a while. And I guess the solution in the meantime is to find some more affordable new EVs, right? But the secondhand market for EVs might take a while to take off because the new Japanese just haven't filled that gap with new EVs. They haven't got that flow coming through like they used to. So have you seen much of that action?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the Japanese used EV market, the first thing you can think about is still the Nissan Leaf. They are quite old-fashioned for what the import market is.
Yeah.
now the price drops to 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand. That's pretty much as far as it goes.
Yeah,
Those cars are older
let's start with that.
technology.
Are they again? Are the guys still importing a lot of Leafs from all ages?
Definitely not as much as it used to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, when you see the Nissan Leaf sells for more than $20,000, you'll be asking yourself question: why don't I just spend a bit more, get a Dongfeng box, or get a BYD other one, or even a used MG4 that has local warranty, local servicing, everything. Yeah,
that's good. Okay.
Not as much as it used to do.
Yeah.
But then many companies suddenly shift to start importing Tesla Model 3s and Model Ys from Japan.
Yeah. Okay. Is that right? Okay. That's interesting.
You see a lot of them on New Zealand Trade Me. If you search Trade Me specifically, that's the market.
Yeah. Trade Me's the main place to sell cars. I think we've got car sales here, and Trade Me's like the eBay, isn't it? It's got but that's big for car sales as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Trade Me is one. Auto Trader is another one. But you see a lot of used import Tesla Model 3s and Tesla Model Ys, and sometimes they would just only be cheaper, $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper than using a new one, and so people still buy them. And I tend to tell people to buy new ones and choose new ones. Yeah, as you get local warranty, local plug. That's another thing.
This is always the issue. Yeah. Always the issue with the Japanese imports. There's no local warranty for the grey imports, is there? But that's right. Yeah. That's the trade-off. People buying a cheaper car but not getting the local support. And we understand people have different price brackets, but often the used market is driven by price, and it has to be in a specific bracket. Look, I hope they can find a source of cheaper used EVs as quickly, but I think like a lot of the market here is going to be kept honest by much cheaper and cheaper new cars coming in, and the used market will hold up nicely as it has at the moment, but it's going to balance again to somewhere finally between the new ones that are getting more value and better cars at cheaper prices with the cars that are out there on the used market. It's going to be a bit of a race, isn't it, to see who wins?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but especially with more and more brands coming in, I think that will come to the used car market as well.
Look, Jerry, that's great. I know Jerry's been coming to me late in his in his time zone. It's late here. Thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And hey, hopefully I'll have you back in again in a few months' time and get another update from the New Zealand market, because incredible what's happened over there. Same thing, similar things to New Zealand, but very different forces involved. And hope the new market does well and you keep selling a lot of new cars. And I hope EV's doing really well over there as well. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. A pleasure.
That's Jerry Pan, and he joins us from New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, gives us an update of the car market over there. We'll get him back again because I'm fascinated with what's going over there. They've got different models. I've always had different models, different things happening, and a smaller market, but just different dynamics. They all can depend on international forces and petrol prices to grow the market. So you can check out the links down below for his website. He's reviewed just about everything, every car, both new and, EV and all sorts of cars. He's got a lot of data, a lot more detail and instructions. Amazing website. So check out Jerry's channel down there as well, and we'll get him back again. Next week, I've got another EV owner, multiple EV owner, who's had a lot of cars, bought and sold a few as well. And he's going to give us a bit more update on Xpeng with his Xpeng, which is for sale on AmazingEV at the moment now as well. I'm Rosco, and we look forward to seeing you next time.